Good morning, it's Barbara. Thank you for joining me for coffee. I missed you. Oh, I'm going to have to figure something out because things are changing around here. When I arrived at my parents' on Thursday, I discovered my father had fallen that morning, tore a muscle in his leg, and was in the hospital. So I went for a 2-hour visit and stayed for 3 days. Well, I got home yesterday afternoon, which was Sunday. I went Thursday morning. So I stayed 3 nights, but I don't sleep. My brother, I don't want to get ahead of the story. So my dad is still in the hospital. He's not thriving in the hospital. I think he is just exhausted from taking care of my mother. They do not give him enough support in this facility. We have outside people come in 3 days a week for 3 hours a day to give my dad a break so he can go down to lunch without mama and he can, But he works too hard. For how much they pay for that place, my dad works too hard. And I think he's just exhausted himself. So he tore this muscle in his leg. I went to see him yesterday, and he had not done well. He ended up with a fever, and persistently low blood pressure, and some other things going on with him. And he hasn't been out of bed since Thursday. He got there. He's been in 4 rooms. But they moved the bed, so he hasn't been out of bed. Well, yesterday I went to see my dad on the way home. I went to the room my brother had seen him in the day before, and I walk in and there's 2 police officers in there and an old man, and they both look at me and say, "You're in the wrong room." I'm like, "Oh yes, I am." They were actually prison guards. There's a prison near State College, Rockview. And they have a lot of prisoners. That's the hospital for the prisoners. I'm like, yes, you're right. I'm in the wrong room. Let me go figure out where my dad is. But as I was leaving, they were moving him yet again because his persistent low blood pressure had them quite concerned. And so he was going to the ICU. So while on Friday we were feeling maybe optimistic that maybe he would be able to come back to harmony with intensive physical therapy and whatever, no. And I don't think he can come straight back to harmony anyway. I just don't think he can. He'll have to go to a rehab facility to rehab that muscle. And he hasn't been strong. His balance is terrible. He needs a walker. Anyway, so I am not optimistic. And the level of facility, they're in a personal care home. And one of the rules for a personal care home is that the residents need to be able to gather at an emergency gathering place in case of emergency, and my mother cannot do that, so I don't even know how she can even be there. I didn't realize that was a rule. And when they moved there, my mom could walk around and stuff, but now she's very weak. She walks a few steps and she can't remember she can't walk. So can you hear that bird? Speaking of birds, when I got home last night, guess who was at the hummingbird feeder? We have 1 hummingbird sighted. I'm so excited. So anyway, meanwhile, my mother cannot be alone. As I said, she doesn't remember that she can't walk very far. I mean, she can walk a few steps and she'll surprise you. And she's stealthy. You have to keep your eye on her all the time. So when I got there Thursday to my brother and sister-in-law, my mother, but no dad, things immediately changed. So I said, well, I can stay. So I was there until yesterday afternoon. I went shopping, got myself some pajamas, some underwear, and t-shirts, because they keep their apartments. That apartment is so hot. It's on the western side, so it gets really hot in the afternoon. And I was wearing my Archer sweater, which is a light sweater. It's my transitional season sweater. It was perfect for outside. But in that apartment, I was dying. I mean, I went rummaging in my dad's drawer and got a t-shirt. I'm like, ah. And so I bought a couple t-shirts. And I stayed. But I had gone there for a 2-hour visit. And I had brought the new pants I bought my dad, which I was expecting to hem. So that was my project. If I was doing a project, that was what it was going to be. I didn't have my knitting. I didn't have a sketchbook. But I also hadn't slept great, which is typical for me before I go on a trip. Or when anything exciting happens, when my grandchildren are coming to stay overnight. You know, I'm a bad sleeper anyway. So I was tired, and I was sleeping on their couch, and ever alert, because my mom gets up and think, you know, she has to go to the bathroom. She gets up and thinks she can do that by herself. So anyway, I had 2 nights of not great sleep before I went, and 3 nights of terrible sleep while I was there. So I was exhausted when I came home. But I can tell you, my father's exhausted because he's doing most of the work during the day with her. And so my brother John and I, well, John came up with, you know, sort of like a schedule because somebody has to be there at night, and we've contacted our home health agency to have somebody there during the day, all day, to, you know. So if somebody's there all day, then John can go and sleep with her most nights, and then I'll come for the days. Like, we probably can't get 7-day services for her anyway. I don't even know. He's going to talk to them today and get some information and figure out what we can do. It's possible we could hire somebody to stay overnight with her. But meanwhile, right now, I'm anticipating going for a few nights every week to stay with my mother. So my schedule, my life, my whatever is all up in the air right now. Yeah, but I'm home today, and I'm scheduled to go back Thursday. And I'll stay, and I'll be there Friday morning, and Saturday morning early-ish, my brother will come and take care of Mama. So I can be home, because I had to postpone our dinner with the kids, and I said, and you know, they're coming next Saturday instead. You know, I planned, you know, I knew this Saturday wasn't going to work, so I rescheduled it. That was before I realized, you know, we have a long-term thing that we're going to try to have to do something with. Anyway, so the kids are coming for dinner. So while I'm home, before I leave on Thursday, I've straightened up the house so it's ready to go for dinner. But that's for tomorrow or Wednesday, because today I am quiet. So I think part of my problem that my dad, part of the problem my dad is having is he's just exhausted. So the long-term solution to this is to move my parents into a care home that gives them more care and will care for my mother, and my dad doesn't have to do it. I don't know what level of care that is. Did I just say this? This is my second take, so I may be repeating myself. They're in what's called a personal care home. And I don't think they need to go all the way to a nursing home, but there must be something in between that gives more services. Like for someone who's not, people who are not ambulatory. My little bird is right there. I don't know what kind of bird it is. I'll have to look. I'm sure it's like a house wren or something like that. It's brown with a beige belly and a little darker brown stripe on the side. I'll ask Dennis, he'll tell me. Anyway. So, I'm home. I've missed you. I told you that the hummingbird came yesterday. I got home and Dennis and Aura were out on the deck with the dogs. And we sat out there and had supper. And it was beautiful, beautiful day. My corian might be a tad too much for this cool... It's probably 60 now. It was 59. I tried to take a video of the gizmo, but it went darkish and it wasn't showing up. I don't know what the story is with it. So anyway, it was like 59.8 when I came out. And so I threw my corian on because it was by my chair. I have a t-shirt on. Oh, I'm expecting to be in a t-shirt all day because it's going to be nice and warm and beautiful. So maybe today might be a day to take a look around Gardeners, our gardening center, Gardeners, and at least get some of the flowers I'm going to want to have decorating the deck so the deck gets nicer. And maybe what I do is I sweep the deck too. And, you know, we plan on being outside for our visit with the kids on Saturday, although I don't know what the weather's expected to be. But I would, you know, I want the deck to look nice if we're going to do something like that. And a few flowers just to get started, to get us in the mood. You know what I mean? I had planted in this little beige planter Dennis's extra peppers, but I wasn't here and only one of them survived. I guess it got too dry. So I watered it yesterday. Maybe we'll end up with a pepper for decorative, not decorative pepper. My mint garden is flourishing. I had a mint drinks last night. Anyway, so today is just a rest and recoup day, and I think that's what my dad is, you know, his body just said, oh, I'm resting, I'm done. In fact, he hasn't actually gotten out of the bed. Did I tell you that? See, when I do a take two, I can't remember what I said. They move the bed around. He's been in 4 rooms and moved to the 5th when I was there yesterday, and they just wheel him around in his bed. They gave him a CAT scan yesterday because they thought the fever might be because the torn muscle was bleeding, so he wanted to check that. The doctor looked at it and seemed satisfied with it. He said, but I'm not a radiologist. So the radiologist will look at it and tell us what's going on. So we will see. But he's going to be there a while. I mean, he's 92. He's going to be 93 in August. It takes time, more time than, you know, usual. And so we're going to have to come up with a plan. So anyway, that's where I am. I'm recovering. My dad's trying to recover. My brother's in the middle of it with my mom right now. My other brother, who lives halfway between me and my parents, who works full time, he is going to take one night. He's, you know, his day off and stuff, and he's going to take a night too. So that's nice that he's involved in helping. And so the 3 of us, you know, my sister lives in Idaho, so there's no, and she's not well. So it's the 3 of us. We do what we can, you know. You do what you can. You worry. But luckily, you know, I get along very well with my brothers, and we'll work it out. We have to. That's what you do. You know, my mom's like, oh, thank you. You know, she's just the sweetest thing, and she's just thanking me right and left. And, you know, I said, Mama, I know so many people who would give their eye teeth to be able to help their mother. I am very happy to be able to help my mother. So anyway, and we had some very, very sweet and loving moments together, and that was nice. But my mother has full-blown dementia, and Yeah. And I'll tell you, keeps me on the straight and narrow with my diet, because the the keto diet is very good for the brain. Gluten is very bad for your brain. And so I am trying to forestall dementia so Dennis and my kids don't have to go through this. That's my plan. We'll see how it works. But it does renew my determination. I have to pause to think of the word. I don't know. Is it working? I'm losing words. Renew my determination. So, yeah. Anyway, but I don't know how my dad's been doing it all this time. I think part of what's going on is he's just exhausted. So we need a solution. We need a solution. Well, either way, we were going to move to full-time external care, whether he was coming home or not, because either for Mama or for both of them, because he just can't do that anymore. Even if his muscle recovers enough and he gets back to being ambulatory the way he was, that's great, but it's still too much. So we got to find them a facility that will do the work. And that's our job. Meanwhile. Okay. Oh, the other big news is a miracle happened before I left, and the puppy frisbee fell off the high shelf that was in the back porch, the mudroom. I don't know what happened, but Pearl found her frisbee. She loves that frisbee, but Dennis stopped throwing the frisbee because she was such a maniac in the air. And we have had 2 dogs who were frisbee dogs who needed their knee operated on because they tore their knee ligaments. So she couldn't have the frisbee. And I think I told you this on Wednesday because she found it before I left. Well, anyway, she and Dennis have come up with a way that he can throw that frisbee and it's okay, because he throws it low and it hits the ground and rolls. So he throws it in a way that sideways, so that it hits the ground and it rolls away from her. So she's chasing a rolling frisbee. And she doesn't do contortions in the air, and it's fine, and she loves it. And now I'm thinking we need to talk about, upping how much food we give her, because she was so exhausted last night. Dennis said, I think I threw that 40 times today. I mean, when I got home, we walked the dogs because I needed exercise. I hadn't done anything. And he said, she doesn't need a walk, but we need to walk. I'm like, yeah, I need a walk. I don't know what So I do have to come up with some kind of exercise. And Mama needs to get out. So they have a wheelchair. So I think I'm just going to put her in the wheelchair and take her around the neighborhood. I mean, it's not a beautiful walking neighborhood. It's not like I can take her to a park or anything. But she needs to get outside. So I need to make sure to bring a hat. So, because she has very thin hair like me. I have my mother's hair. So she'll get sunburned and such. So bring a hat for her and a hat for me. And walk her around the neighborhood. Just to get her outside. Because I sat in the house for 3 days. And it's too much. So I do need to work on that. Right, puppy? Did you miss me? And the puppies missed me. This is Maisie. Yeah. Yeah, you missed me, didn't you? Yes, you did. You did. I'm the one who gives the cuddles. Dennis says, oh my God, these dogs are asking for cuddles all the time. I'm the one that gives the cuddles. Dennis is the one who plays. So anyway, I'm home. My current intention is to continue to vlog when I'm at my parents'. But I need to figure it out. I just couldn't figure it out this time. So I am going to be going much better prepared when I leave here on Thursday. I will have my knitting. I will have a sketchbook and clothes and food. And maybe I'll bring my tripod. I need to maybe figure out, come up with a selfie stick, because that would work. You know, I'll just be sitting in the couch while my mom's taking her morning nap and doing my vlog. Yeah. Oh, and I got a new laptop. My laptop, I was having so much trouble charging it that I was afraid it was just going to be unchargeable, and then I wouldn't be able to even get my stuff off of it. So it is old for a laptop, 7 years old. So I'm really hard on the plugs. So we have to come up with a charging station where I get up and take my laptop. I got one with a big battery so it would last a while, and just don't use it plugged in wherever I'm using it, and put it back and plug it in when I'm done. So that hopefully it can last for 3 hours while I'm zooming. It should. I mean, we bought the one with the bigger battery, so hopefully that will work. But that's a project also, is to try to figure out my new laptop. Not my favorite thing to do. I'll figure out enough to get by and never know. And it's Windows 10, 11, Windows 11. You know, they've gotten so far away from the Windows that I understand that it's really annoying, to be honest. But Dennis will have a lot of work to do with that to get it hooked up to our home network and such. So it might have a nice camera. I might be able to do my vlog using the camera from my laptop. And if that's the case, then I can use my phone to like look up the name of the book and the author and things like that. Because right now, if I don't write them down before I start recording, I can't do it because I'm recording on my phone. Also, my phone's been getting very full because, you know, so if I stop doing my vlogs on my phone, that'll preserve some space on my phone. Anyway, I'm starting to ramble. I'm going to go finish my coffee and upload you and say good morning. Thank you for joining me. I'm so happy to be back. And I'll be home for a couple of days, and should be able to vlog on Thursday before I leave, because I don't think I'm going to be there too early. And, yeah. And then Friday, well, if you don't see me, it's because I haven't figured it out. And Saturday I won't vlog because I'll be leaving there really early because I have a dinner date with my granddaughters Saturday. And I don't know anything about my schedule after that. We'll work it out while I'm there. But I spent some good quality time with my mother and my brother in these last 4 days, and that was nice. To just sit and talk with my brother, and because he came and visited and watched my mom for an hour, so I could go, you know, shopping. I had to go get food. I had to go get clothes, you know. So I spent more time with my brother than I usually do. And that was nice. All right, I'm going now. It's time. Please take good care of yourselves. Please, please, please. Stay safe. And stay safe.